Good evening, parents, teachers, students, and members of the community. Thank you for joining me tonight on this presentation on school violence. During this presentation, I will be discussing the frequency of school violence on school campuses, as well as the negative impacts that this violence can have on students' academic and social lives. More importantly, I will be discussing an overall plan to help prevent and monitor school violence on campuses. As the National PTA Every Child, One Voice states, students deserve a safe environment in which to live, learn, and grow. Unfortunately, the threat of violence is present in many communities and has grown in a number of schools across the country. Improving our education of our students, we must take the prevention of violence into account. What is school violence? Many of us associate school violence with shootings and bullying. However, school violence is any physical or verbal harm done to a student on campus, on their way to campus, on their way home from campus, or at any school-sponsored event. Examples of school violence include bullying, fighting, for example, punching, slapping, or kicking, weapon use such as gun or knives, electronic aggression, verbal aggression, as well as gang violence. Many people associate being bullied and enjoying playing violent video games as factors for an increase of violence. However, other factors that increase youth violence include a prior history of violence, drug or tobacco abuse, association with delinquent peers, poor functioning family, poor grades in school, as well as poverty in the community. While the previous cartoon is a little girl happy to miss school, not for being able to sleep in or having a day off, but for fear of safety made look funny, and a survey on school violence, 5.9% of students reported they did not go to school one or more days in the 30 days before the survey was taken because they felt unsafe at school, on their way to school, or on their way home from school. In the same study of the national sample of 9th to 12th graders, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention found that 5.4% of students reported carrying a gun, weapon, knife, or club on school property one or more days in the 30 days before the survey, and 7.4% of students reported being threatened or injured with a weapon on school property one or more times in the 12 months before the survey. The previous chart provided by the Center for Disease Control provides an average of students, both male and female, who were injured or threatened with a weapon on school campus. While the previous chart demonstrated the frequency in which a student was threatened or injured with a weapon on campus, this chart, in contrast, asks students the frequency in which they carried a weapon to campus in the past 30 days before the survey, as well as the number of physical altercations they were involved in within the past 12 months prior to the survey. Students are not the only ones affected by school violence. Many memorable teachers have put their lives in jeopardy or sacrificed their lives to protect their students during these acts of violence. Some of these memorable teachers include Victoria Soto from Sandy Hook Elementary, Caitlin Rogue from Sandy Hook Elementary, and Megan Silberberger from Marysville Pilchuck High School. Should we worry about school violence? To answer this question, I believe we should examine the history of school violence provided to us by CNN, beginning with the most memorable incident of violence at Sandy Hook Elementary, in which countless lives were lost. December 14, 2012, at Sandy Hook Elementary in Newtown, Connecticut, Adam Lanza, 20 years old, guns down 20 children ages 6 and 7, and 6 adults, school staff, and faculty before turning the gun on himself. October 21st, 2013, Sparks Middle School, Sparks, Nevada. 12-year-old student Jose Reyes takes his parents' handgun to school and shoots 3, injuring 2 12-year-old male students and killing Mike Lansbury, a teacher and Marine veteran. June 10, 2014, Reynolds High School in Troutdale, Oregon. Jared Paget, 15, shoots and kills 14-year-old Emilio Hoffman in the school gym. He later takes his own life. Most recently, on October 24, 2014, in Marysville Pilchuck High School, Marysville, Washington, freshman Jalen Freiberg shoots 5 people in the school cafeteria, killing 1. A second victim dies of her injuries 2 days later, and a third dies on October 31st. Freiberg dies of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Should we worry about school violence? Deaths resulting from school violence are only part of the problem. Many young people experience non-fatal injuries. Some of these injuries are relatively minor and include cuts, bruises, and broken bones. Other injuries, like gunshot wounds and head trauma, are more severe and serious and could lead to permanent disability. Additionally, though the death toll may be low and there may be no physical injuries, all injuries are not visible. Exposure to youth violence and school violence can lead to a wide array of negative health problems and behaviors, including alcohol and drug abuse, depression, anxiety, and many other psychological problems, including fear, can result from school violence. The goal is to stop violence from happening in the first place. Several prevention strategies have been identified to do so. One program is SAVE, a student-driven organization in which students learn about alternatives to violence and practice what they learn through school and community service projects. As they participate in SAVE activities, students learn crime prevention and conflict management skills and the virtues of good citizenship, civility, and nonviolence. For a program to stop violence to be successful, it must be all-inclusive, including school, family, and community. We must all work to be positive role models for our students and show them alternatives to violence to solve problems. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention has provided a 4-step program to help aid schools in preventing school violence. The first step is to define the problem. Before we can prevent school violence, we need to know how big the problem is, where it is, and who it affects. The second step is to identify risk and protective factors. It is not enough to know that school violence affects certain students in certain areas, but we also need to know why that is. The third step is to develop and test prevention strategies using information gathered in research. The Center for Disease Control Prevention develops and evaluates strategies to prevent school violence. While every situation is different, schools must adjust their needs for every situation. The last step in the prevention program is to ensure the program is widely adopted. As previously stated, in order for this program to be successful, it must be all-inclusive, including both school and family, as well as community. Thank you for joining me tonight in this presentation on school violence. I hope to help you reevaluate the frequency of violence on school campuses today, and that we can work together to ensure a safe educational environment for our students.